The summer heat hung heavily over the quiet suburban street. The air shimmered above the cracked pavement, and the cicadas buzzed lazily from the trees lining the road. Lieutenant Ava Ramirez had walked this route dozens of times before. It was part of her routine after long shifts at the base. A slow walk through the neighborhood with Rex, the German shepherd who had been her partner for 7 years. Rex wasn't just a dog. He was a decorated military working dog who had served alongside Ava in places most people only heard about in the news. Afghanistan,
Syria,
Iraq. He had walked through war zones, sniffed out hidden explosives, and saved more lives than anyone could count. Rex had been trained to ignore chaos. Explosions didn't bother him. Gunfire didn't shake him. Even crowded airports and noisy streets barely caught his attention. But on this particular Tuesday afternoon, Rex stopped. Completely. Ava took 2 more steps before realizing the leash had gone tight. She turned. Rex stood perfectly still on the sidewalk. Not barking. Not pulling. Not growling. Just staring. That was unusual. Rex didn't freeze unless something mattered. Ava followed his gaze. Across the street stood a little girl. She couldn't have been older than 6. Her blonde hair was tied in a messy ponytail, and her small frame looked almost lost beside the bicycle she was holding.
It was a pink bike.
The kind most kids learn to ride when they're 5 or 6 years old. But what caught Ava's attention wasn't the bike. It was the cardboard sign taped to the front basket. Written in purple crayon were 2 simple words. For sale. The girl looked nervous. She shifted her weight from one foot to the other and glanced up and down the street like she was waiting for someone. Ava crossed the road slowly. "Hey there," she said gently. The little girl looked up, surprised. "Hi." Her voice was small. Ava crouched slightly so she wouldn't tower over her. "Are you selling your bike?" The girl nodded. "Yes, ma'am." "How much?" The girl hesitated. Then she shrugged. "Whatever someone can give." Ava raised an eyebrow. That was an odd answer for a kid. Kids usually had a number in mind. "Why are you selling it?" Ava asked. The girl looked down at the ground. Her small sneaker scraped the pavement. "My dog is sick." Ava felt Rex move slightly beside her. The German shepherd sat down quietly. "What's your dog's name?" Ava asked. "Buddy." "Where is Buddy?" "At home." The girl pointed toward a small blue house halfway down the street. "He can't walk anymore," she said softly. "And Mom says the vet costs too much." The words landed heavier than Ava expected. Kids didn't usually explain things so plainly. "How long have you been out here?" Ava asked. "Since lunch." Ava checked her watch. It was almost 4 in the afternoon. "You've been standing here for hours?" The girl nodded. "No one wants a pink bike," she said quietly. Ava looked at the bicycle again. It wasn't new, but it was in good condition. Training wheels had been removed. There were stickers on the frame, stars, hearts, and a faded unicorn. The front tire was a little worn, but it was still a perfectly good bike. "What's your name?" Ava asked. "Emily." "Well, Emily," Ava said, "I think that's a pretty nice bike." Emily gave a small, hopeful smile. "Do you want to buy it?" Ava didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked down at Rex. The dog hadn't taken his eyes off the girl since they arrived. It was the same intense focus he had used when detecting explosives overseas. Except now there was no tension in his body. Just quiet attention. Almost concern. Ava reached into her pocket. She pulled out her wallet and checked what cash she had. $30. She looked back at the bike. Would $30 be okay? Emily's eyes widened. "Really? Really?" Emily carefully handed the bike over like it was something fragile. Ava passed her the money. The girl clutched the bills tightly in both hands. "Thank you," she said. Then she paused. "Do you want the helmet too?" She held up a pink helmet with scratch stickers. Ava smiled. "I think you should keep the helmet." Emily hesitated again. "Can I show you, Buddy?" she asked. Ava nodded. "Of course." They walked together toward the small blue house. Rex followed closely beside them. The yard was small but neat. A wooden porch creaked slightly as they stepped onto it. Emily opened the door quietly. "Mom," she called. No answer. "She's at work," Emily explained. Inside the living room, lying on a soft blanket, was Buddy. He was an old golden retriever. His fur had turned pale around his muzzle, and his breathing was slow. But when Emily entered the room, his tail thumped weakly against the floor. "Hi, buddy," she whispered. She knelt beside him and gently stroked his head. Rex stepped forward slowly. The two dogs looked at each other for a long moment. Then Rex lay down beside him. No growling, no tension, just calm understanding. Ava had seen Rex behave around injured soldiers before. This was the same quiet gentleness. "How old is he?" Ava asked. 13, Emily said. "That's a good long life." Emily nodded, but her eyes looked worried. "The vet said he needs medicine." She held up the $30. "Will this help?" Ava felt something tighten in her chest. $30 wouldn't even cover the exam. But Emily didn't know that. And right now, hope mattered more than numbers. "It's a good start," Ava said softly. That evening, after leaving the house, Ava made a phone call. The next morning, Emily and her mother received a message from the local veterinary clinic. Buddy's treatment had already been paid for. Anonymous donor. 2 days later, Buddy was walking again. Slowly, but walking. Emily never knew exactly who helped. But every afternoon after that, Ava and Rex passed by the blue house. And every time they did, Emily rode past them on a new pink bicycle. Because the old one, Ava kept in her garage. Not because she needed a child's bike, but because sometimes the smallest acts of kindness leave the biggest marks on our lives. And Rex, every time they walked past that house, he wagged his tail, like he knew they had stopped exactly where they were supposed to.